Lesson 3, some familiar-looking letters. So these 3 letters that we present in this lesson, they come straight from the Greek alphabet. The thing that looks like a K is a kappa. How do you pronounce that in Russian, Sergey? What's the name of that letter?
Ka.
And then the next one that looks like an M, that's from the Greek letter mu. How do you pronounce that one in Russian?
M.
And then finally, we have the letter that looks like a T, and that's, again, straight from the Greek alphabet, which is the letter tau. But in Russian, what do they call that, Sergey?
It would be te.
So directly from the Greek alphabet to the Russian alphabet, we have these 3 letters, which also ended up in the Latin alphabet. So these look the same for an English speaker or for a Russian speaker because they both came from the same place. They both came from the Greek alphabet. The Etruscans and the Romans borrowed these letters from the Greeks, and then later, in the Middle Ages, the people who made the Cyrillic alphabet also borrowed them. So we have these same common letters that are common to both languages as far as their appearance goes. So in this first lesson, Lucille and Sergey, we present these 3 letters, which look just like their English counterparts as far as their appearance goes. But do they sound the same? In other words, the one that looks like a K, does it sound just like our English K? And the M, does it sound like an English M? And the te, does it sound like an English T? Do they look alike and sound alike? Or are there pronunciation differences?
I would say the one with the most difference would be the te, because in English we tend to have more of an attack on it, like a t. And in Russian, it's a little bit of a gentler sound, so I'll ask Sergey to pronounce it if you listen to the name of the letter.
Te. It's a little bit softer, like you were saying. It doesn't have that on the front of the sound, perhaps.
Can you think of a good description of that, Bill, like that t?
It's called aspiration. So if you heavily aspirate a T, it's like t.
Right, that's what it is.
But if it's less aspirated, it's more like linguists make a difference between a T that starts a word and ends a word. Like if I say Tom, that's heavily aspirated starting a word. But if I say the word part, then that's at the end of a word, and it's not going to be as heavily aspirated because it's not got as much air behind it. So part. So this is a perfect example of why I have pronunciation recordings along with all my books. So the readers and listeners can listen to the recordings and hear exactly how the words are supposed to sound. And they can catch those subtle differences like that.